The qualifying grind established the McLaren of Bruce McLaren and Dennis Hume on the front row.
Number 17 will be car number 37, Don Ford. His qualifying time.
They are followed by Dan Gurney and George Fulmer. Then Donahue and Chuck Parsons.
Number 16 on the outside row.
With Surtees, Revson, and Hall filling out the next slots.
3/10 of a second.
The premier event of the 1967 Canadian-American Challenge Cup promises, by all preliminary indications, to be revealing and fast. We'll complete the pace lap and start the race in a moment. Road America, it's the end of the pace lap and the creeping is over. The green flag sends 33 cars off for the first of the 1967 Can-Am Series. Out of turn one, and Denny Hume has stolen the lead from his boss, Bruce McLaren, right at the outset. They're still in a pack as they accelerate onto the fastest part of the course, the Moraine Sweep. Behind the leaders, the order is Gurney, Donahue, Parsons, and Surtees. The Hall Chaparral is in an unfamiliar spot well back in the crowd. Team McLaren still shows the way into the Hurry Downs, a series of weaving downhill S's here at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. And they whiplash out of the sweeping half-circle carousel, then down to the kettle bottoms, like enormous orange bees leading the swarms through the woods to the winner's share of the $40,000 honey. Then around the Canada corner. Oops! Hume is really pushing it, blasting his way into an echo chamber called Thunder Valley. So it's all Denny Hume and teammate Bruce McLaren at the end of the first 4-mile lap. 49 more to go. Here's the first pit casualty. Australian Frank Maddich and his crew from Down Under are discovering that the pressure of the Can-Am Series may be too much for a relatively small car such as his. Meanwhile, the other team from Down Under is way up on top and beginning to widen the lead. Dan Gurney third, the Penske Sunoco Specials, and John Surtees is sixth. The famous Chaparral is barely hanging on to ninth behind Peter Revson. Front runners have now posted an average lap time of just under 107 miles per hour. And here's John Surtees getting by George Fulmer to take over fifth place. Catapulting out of the carousel, the McLaren team is proving their qualifying performance was no fluke. Gurney is many seconds behind now. John Surtees takes the cue from the leaders, puts distance between himself and the man he has just passed, George Fulmer. Gurney is still number 3, but it's all he can do to keep those speedy orange bees in his front sights. The McLaren pit crew tells the story. 4 seconds over Dan. But no Dan. That's Donahue in third. Gurney is in the pits with trouble. And the trouble must be fairly serious. The crew is looking over the throttle linkage area. Dan will really have to go some to get back among the leaders. Looks like an adjustment has been made. And he's out of there with a vengeance.
The Sports Car Club of America was justifiably proud of the 67 Can-Am. Huge crowds and stellar fields of cars and drivers proved this new series had a bright future indeed. Unfortunately for most of those competitors, the bright young driver and designer from New Zealand, Bruce McLaren, was taking Can-Am very seriously. McLaren's fuel-injected Chevy-powered masterpieces were running away as expected, while Surtees in the Red 7 put pressure on third-place Mark Donahue. Surtees started 7th. His car was indeed getting better as the weekend wore on. Sam Posey is a name well known to modern motorsports enthusiasts. He retired early in the Hudson Wire entry. That's the company with which Bob Aiken financed a long and successful American road racing career. As the McLaren Blitz continues, we rejoin Les Kiter.
Gurney in the pits again. Race commissioner and good friend Sterling Moss comes over to discover the problem and sympathize with him. Evidently, he's been braking hard due to a stuck throttle. Now his tires are flat-spotted. A tire change is time-consuming and unusual for the relatively short race. This stop will be a deadly one. What's this? Bruce McLaren is dropping way off to a slow crawl, falling prey to his own blistering pace. That will change the picture. And here's another change. John Surtees has blasted his way into third place. It looks as though brilliant driving may be the answer to flower power. Well, this flower power wilted and died. Too bad for builder driver Bruce McLaren, out of the car and out of the race. That leaves all the team hopes in the hands of relentless Denny Hulme. It looks as though Gurney's crew has finally patched him up. He is probably too far behind to go out for anything more than a practice run now. A let it all hang out, foot to the floor practice run. The heavy attrition rate has made it a new race. Surtees roars by in second. Donahue is hanging on to third. And now the pack is up closer to the front by default. Jim Hall is tightly wedged in fifth between Chuck Parsons in front, Skip Scott behind. And now Hall is trying to ooze out of the middle of that traveling sandwich, but nothing doing. Looks as though he might have got slapped in the face for that presumption. While John Surtees shows his old prowess, Jim Hall just can't seem to break loose from the crowd. He has just not been spending as much time sitting in that car as he has working on it. Maybe it's the lack of practice or the new 2G version of the Chaparral, but something has to be sorted out before the Midland Roadrunner is more competitive. And while the little boys are bickering in the back, Denny Hulme is running flat out to add some more time to his already enormous lead. There it is, 51 seconds ahead of second place John Surtees, carrying the hopes of his less fortunate teammate Bruce McLaren. Look out, here comes Hard Luck Dan with his foot on the floor trying to rewrite his misfortune, flat out to pick up some of the leftover points.